The Tech Community Stadium bore witness to a spectacle few could have predicted. Manchester United, a club steeped in history and accustomed to success, crumbled before the relentless pressure of Brentford. The final scoreline, a 4-3 victory for the Bees, only tells part of the story. This was a match filled with defensive blunders, moments of individual brilliance, and a palpable sense of shock that lingered long after the final whistle. For Manchester United supporters, the match was an emotional roller coaster. Early optimism gave way to disbelief as Brentford raced into a 4-goal lead. A spirited second-half fightback offered a glimmer of hope, but ultimately it was too little, too late. The final whistle confirmed a defeat that will live long in the memory, a stark reminder of the challenges that lie ahead for Ten Hag and his team. Anticipation filled the air as the team sheet for Manchester United was released. Fans were eager to witness the debut of 17-year-old prodigy, Cheeto Obi Martin, the youngest ever Premier League starter for the club. His inclusion, alongside established stars like Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford, hinted at an attacking intent from Ten Hag. Brentford, on the other hand, lined up in their familiar 3-5-2 formation, a system that had brought them considerable success under Thomas Frank. The opening exchanges did little to suggest the drama that was about to unfold. Manchester United, buoyed by their recent victory over Athletic Club in the Europa League, started brightly, dominating possession and probing for an early opening. Brentford, however, were content to absorb the pressure, waiting patiently for opportunities to exploit any complacency in the United defense. The calm before the storm, as it turned out, was all too brief. The first goal, arriving in just the 11th minute, set the tone for a disastrous first half for Manchester United. A seemingly innocuous long ball forward should have been dealt with comfortably by the United defense. However, a miscommunication between Lisandro Martinez and Victor Lindelof allowed Ivan Toney to nip in and slot the ball past a helpless Andre Onana. Brentford, sensing blood, pressed home their advantage. Their high-pressing, energetic style caused chaos in the United ranks, who seemed incapable of stringing together more than a couple of passes. Matthias Jensen doubled Brentford's lead in the 29th minute, capitalizing on another defensive error, this time a misplaced pass from Casemiro. The home crowd, sensing a famous victory, roared their approval as Brentford ran riot. The onslaught continued unabated. Just before halftime, Bryan Mbeumo added a third, a stunning long-range effort that left Onana rooted to the spot. Manchester United, shell-shocked and bereft of ideas, limped into the break, lucky to be only 3 goals behind. The first half had been a tactical and technical masterclass from Brentford, who had ruthlessly exposed the vulnerabilities of their illustrious opponents. Manchester United's defensive performance in the first half was nothing short of shambolic. The usually reliable pairing of Martinez and Lindelof looked utterly lost against the pace and movement of Toney and Mbeumo. Their positioning was suspect, their decision-making erratic, and their communication non-existent. However, to lay the blame solely at the feet of the defenders would be a gross oversimplification. The midfield, tasked with providing a shield for the back four, was equally culpable. Casemiro, so often the calming presence in the middle of the park, endured a torrid afternoon, misplacing passes and failing to track the runs of Brentford's midfielders. The absence of Christian Eriksen, ruled out through injury, was keenly felt as United lacked creativity and composure in the final third. The high defensive line employed by Ten Hag, a hallmark of his tactical philosophy, backfired spectacularly. Brentford's forwards, particularly Toney, relished the space afforded to them, constantly threatening to run in behind the exposed United defense. The first half highlighted not only individual errors, but also a fundamental flaw in United's tactical approach, one that Brentford exploited with ruthless efficiency. The halftime whistle offered a moment of respite for Manchester United, a chance to regroup and reassess. Ten Hag, visibly furious, made a double substitution, bringing on Jadon Sancho and Scott McTominay for the ineffective Antony and the struggling Cheeto Obi Martin. The changes injected some much-needed urgency and energy into United's play. In the 66th minute, Manchester United pulled a goal back. Marcus Rashford, a constant threat with his pace and direct running, latched onto a through ball from Fernandes and calmly slotted the ball past David Raya. The goal, against the run of play, gave United a glimmer of hope, a lifeline they desperately needed. 10 minutes later, United were awarded a penalty when Ben Mee was adjudged to have handled the ball inside the penalty area. Bruno Fernandes stepped up and confidently dispatched the spot kick, sending Raya the wrong way. Suddenly, what had seemed an insurmountable deficit was now just a single goal. The momentum had shifted, and for the first time in the match, doubt crept into the minds of the Brentford players. Despite Manchester United's spirited fight-back, Brentford refused to buckle under the pressure. They defended resolutely, throwing their bodies on the line to block shots and clear crosses. The home crowd, sensing that their team was on the verge of a historic victory, found their voice once more, urging their team on. Then, with just minutes remaining, Brentford delivered the killer blow. A corner kick from the left-hand side caused panic in the Manchester United penalty area. The ball pinballed around before falling kindly to Nathan Collins, who bundled it over the line from close range. The goal, met with a cacophony of noise from the home fans, effectively ended any hopes of a miraculous Manchester United comeback. Alejandro Garnacho would pull another goal back for United in the 88th minute, a stunning solo effort that showcased the youngsters' undoubted talent. However, it proved to be nothing more than a consolation goal. Brentford saw out the remaining minutes with relative ease, their resilience and determination earning them a deserved victory. Ten Hag cut a disconsolate figure on the touchline as the final whistle blew. His post-match interview was a brutally honest assessment of his team's performance. "It's a lack of everything," he fumed. "We were not disciplined, we didn't follow the rules, and we were punished." Ten Hag was particularly critical of his team's defending, labeling it unacceptable at this level. He also lamented their missed chances, particularly in the first half when the game was still in the balance. "We had opportunities to score, but we didn't take them, and then we conceded easy goals. That's not good enough." The defeat piled further pressure on Ten Hag, who had already come under scrutiny following a disappointing start to the season. Questions were being asked about his tactics, his team selection, and his ability to motivate a group of players seemingly lacking in confidence and belief. The honeymoon period, it seemed, was well and truly over. For Brentford, the victory was a testament to their tactical discipline, their unwavering work ethic, and their unshakable belief. Thomas Frank had his team superbly drilled their high-pressing, counter-attacking style, proving too hot for Manchester United to handle. The victory was even more impressive given Brentford's relatively modest resources. They had outplayed and outfought one of the biggest clubs in the world, proving that their impressive performances in recent seasons were no fluke. This was a team and a manager on the up, and they were determined to make their mark on the Premier League. The result sent shockwaves through the league, serving as a reminder that on their day, Brentford are capable of beating anyone. They had exposed the frailties of a Manchester United team seemingly still finding their feet under their new manager, and in doing so, had announced themselves as a force to be reckoned with. The defeat left Manchester United in 15th place in the Premier League, a position that would have been unthinkable just a few seasons ago. The early season optimism had evaporated, replaced by a growing sense of unease among the club's supporters. The focus now shifts to their upcoming Europa League semi-final second leg against Athletic Club. Despite carrying a comfortable 3-0 lead from the first leg, the manner of their defeat to Brentford will have done little to ease the nerves ahead of the crucial fixture. The Europa League now takes on added significance, representing their last realistic chance of silverware this season, and, more importantly, a route back into the Champions League. The road ahead for Manchester United is fraught with challenges. Ten Hag faces a monumental task in turning around their fortunes. He needs to address their defensive frailties, inject some creativity into their midfield, and find a way to get the best out of his misfiring forwards. The loss to Brentford was a painful lesson, a stark reminder of the work that needs to be done if they are to return to their former glories.